We hitting?
We're hitting.
Alright, I guess I was supposed to look at the camera or something. First podcast, White Trashcast. Is that what we're calling this?
I guess we are.
Like.
I like that, White Trashcast.
This is a pilot episode. We have no idea what we're doing. Caitlin is back on the control booth trying to figure things out. Nicole?
Hi.
Who are you?
I am Nicole, and I host a podcast twice a week. It's called Urban Dictionary. You may have seen my logo.
Speak into the fucking mic if you do a podcast. Very professional.
I wanted to show my logo. So I have a logo, and I have a podcast. And it's not nearly as good as Brad's, but one day it will be there.
Well, you taught me everything I know.
I did.
Literally.
Kind of did.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Johnny Smith, brother, what's up, sir? Who are you?
Your secret lover.
Not so secret anymore.
Well, you know.
That's out of the bag.
It's bound to get out sometime, you know.
Do you have a logo?
My kids have suspected for a while.
Do I have a logo?
You need a logo.
Why don't you get to working on that?
What would his logo be? I don't know him well enough to do a logo. So, like, what?
A penis with a smiley face on it.
A penis and glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Definite glasses. There we go.
You know, my Uncle Tom has actually been a graphic designer for years. He worked for Phillips Litho back in the 80s
and
90s.
I remember
and now
that
he's
place.
been with Saatchi for years.
Yeah.
I know the guy who
did
that.
Yeah, he's done several logos for me. So I'll hit him. He's retiring soon, too, so he has no excuse not to help me out. I'll send this pod to him. Yeah, so Caitlin in the back, off camera. Thank you for helping and helping this boomer figure out modern technology because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Of course.
What was the whisper? You're on camera.
I'm drinking a beer.
Oh yeah, you're having a beer. It's good, isn't it?
I'm having a beer, and
Tasty.
So far this is my third alcoholic beverage of the year 2000 and.
We're in 24 now.
2024. 2024 is my third alcoholic beverage, and I have not spilt it yet. This would be the first one that I haven't spilt if I do not spill
Was the last beer I gave you this year?
The one that you finished, yes.
Yeah.
Cheers, because this is my third of the night.
We're almost tied.
I won't give my body count. I'm already an alcoholic. I don't need to announce that I'm on number 16 in the last 40 minutes.
We all have something wrong with us.
So, social media. What's your take on it? Overall, broad view. I want to talk about this because I've got some. Social
media. I grew up AOL. It's when I grew up in the AOL. Whenever you had.
Well, let's just start. You're born. Were you 77?
77.
What a gentleman! What a gentleman!
Wow.
Dial up.
It was.
That's what.
I thought you were trying to protect your age.
No, he was definitely not. He was trying. He was trying to take dial. Actually, I had dial up up until 2011. I had dial up living on my mom's farm in Madison County.
I don't remember when fast
You weren't
internet.
born when dial up was a thing.
Dude, you know how young I was when we started hanging out? We've been together 20 years, Johnny and I now. We started, I think 2004 was when you joined.
Ish.
Yeah, right around
I think actually it was 2005.
It might have been 05.
So 5.
Right,
That's
19
almost 20 years.
But, so I was 22, 23, you were early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But you're bringing up social media, so that was like in the AOL chat rooms.
Yeah.
Was my first introduction into digital people that you know kind of who they are, but you have no idea who they are. So that was my introduction into social media, was AOL chat rooms.
Was that how you picked up men?
Yeah.
Where's all the Arkansas boys in the chat?
Wait.
And then you catfish
hold on.
them?
It was A/S/L. Age, sex, location.
Okay.
Yeah, ASL.
You didn't ask for dick size?
I just
That was a
asked for
mystery to you?
strictly pictures. I did not. I mean, Zoom works in mysterious ways.
I always want to know dick size right off the bat.
I was living in Dallas when AOL chat rooms were a thing, and I actually got a date off of that, and I was in there not knowing what I was doing, and some girl DM'd me and said, "Hey, I like you, and I think we should go out." And I was like, "I don't even know who you are." It was the craziest thing.
Did you meet her?
I did.
Of course you did, you horny bastard.
Of course I did. I was single.
Yeah.
God, somebody wants to go out with me? Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So then,
it's a very sweet.
That's funny because I used to prowl. I mean, I was a teenage boy when that came out,
on
so
AOL?
I was prowling the chat rooms. Any ladies in the Arkansas chat? I got catfished hard a couple times too. Yeah.
What is your screen name?
My screen name was
Just to make sure it doesn't sound familiar.
I don't even. Something. So it was a variation of Rudolph, which was my dog.
I still know what mine was. Comedy, tragedy, gal. Gal. G-A-L at the end. G-A-L.
I have no idea what mine was.
I just remember thinking this internet is never going to take off. It takes too long to sign on. You get kicked off when somebody calls. It was just I didn't think it was a successful product when it first launched, and that the connection was super slow.
Yeah.
How wrong was I? Because I mean, now it's so ubiquitous. You know, like our generation of kids, and probably yours too, Johnny, don't remember a world without the internet. Probably, right?
I very much remember a world without the
No,
internet.
your kids.
Oh no, they don't.
Right,
no,
that's what
they
I'm
don't
saying.
know a world without it.
Yeah, it's just been ubiquitous since they were. By the time they grew up
Yeah.
old enough to use it, it was there. Whereas we just didn't have it. But so
Yeah.
then take us through the progression of. So you started with AOL, like we all did. We're all
Right.
relatively close in it within 10 years. But then, what was your first experience with social media? Did you embrace it pretty quick?
Actually, my first experience with social media was MySpace. I was on the air at that time, so it was required for us to get
A presence, like an online
personality.
presence,
Yeah. So it was MySpace. So that would have been back in 2000. I'm gonna say 2006. Does that sound about right? 2006-ish.
Definitely, because
Caitlin can fact check that one.
I've been with my wife for 15 years, and we met on MySpace.
Y'all been together 15 years?
Actually, 16 coming August, yeah.
You haven't get married the year after I did? Because we just had our 16. When did you get married?
2012. August of 2012.
But you were together for
Yeah,
some
we
years
dated
before
for
that.
4 years.
Okay. I was thinking
Before we
said
got married.
Okay, yeah, I remember
But
that.
we met on MySpace.
So we have MySpace, and then I MySpaced it, and then, listen, here's what happened, because I did the MySpace thing, but then I went radio silent for a full 18 months because I was in the Who Scout, and I get out, and then there's Facebook. So I come out, MySpace was gone away.
So you logged into your MySpace profile and it's dead.
It was still there, but nobody was on it. Whenever I went in, Facebook was just barely getting to be a thing.
Facebook killed MySpace.
Oh,
Yeah.
Immediately. Well, that's why I was asking if MySpace was even because like the servers got taken down not too long
anymore.
after.
I've looked for your picture that you talked about. I've looked for that MySpace picture. I can't find it. I can't find anything on MySpace anymore.
Well, I say the servers got taken down. Like I thought the website MySpace got taken down not too long after Facebook came out.
And then Justin Timberlake bought it.
Did he?
Mhm.
But yeah, I did have a picture on MySpace for decades.
Yes.
I was looking for it.
I
It's
still
somewhere
need
over
to
there.
see it.
You haven't seen it?
Is it the nerd picture?
No, it's a picture of me with a boa constrictor on.
Oh, I obviously know that picture. That's on the website. But there was a nerd picture that was something I heard about, a nerdy picture. You had glasses on and were dressed like a nerd.
Fuck, I don't know.
You were telling me.
I have one of those. It was
Mine
from a
was-
Halloween party.
My MySpace picture was of me and Gretchen Wilson.
You meet her?
She met me, honey.
Did y'all
Yes.
scissor?
Not that night. No, we did not scissor that
Not
night.
that night? you
She's
said?
no.
Maybe later?
No, maybe later. She's a real bitch, though.
Is she?
She is a real bitch. Yeah, she's a snooty little bitch.
Speaking of random insults on celebrities, you remember the time me and Scott did your podcast and we were talking about Kid Rock?
Mm-hmm.
And Scott just goes, "That dude is the ugliest motherfucker
Yes,
I've ever
because
seen."
it's true. He is
He's
ugly.
not a handsome man.
He's never been handsome,
No.
and it's one of those things where if he was ugly, and had some kind of like amazing voice, that's one thing, but his voice isn't even amazing. But something about the whole thing just...
Kid Rock's
his music is cool.
I don't even know
some
that
of
it's
it.
the music, it's his persona.
Yeah.
Because I get the sense that he's pretty, like, that's who he is in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
But whenever I said something about I was loving Kid Rock music, your jaw about hit the floor. I guess you didn't think I was liking Kid Rock music or something?
No, it just surprised me. It surprised me. I picture you as this California blue-haired leftist wacko. And so when you talked about Kid Rock, I was shocked.
Music is music.
No, I know.
I think at this point there might be like 2 artists that I will refuse to listen to simply because of who they are. It's who's the rapper guy that was in the
Tom McDonald?
No, this guy's like in prison for like trafficking. What's that guy's name?
Diddy?
Well, not him. Well, him, but who was the one? They had like documentaries about him. Does anybody know who I'm talking about?
A musician?
Yeah, he was a rapper.
Oh, I don't know.
Kanye.
I'm not up on
No,
that
do you
rap.
know who I'm talking about, Caitlin?
No.
He did the interview with Gayle King, and she was like Robert. His real name's Robert.
Can we get a
Yeah.
Oh, Robert!
No, but that's not his rapper name. And he's like in prison now. It was this huge
you're not
deal.
talking about Piss on Me, R. Kelly.
That's the one I'm talking
Okay.
about. So I won't listen to his music just because he's a douche, and I won't listen.
All right, so let's talk
But
about.
like Kanye, I would listen to Kanye's music if the music is good. I've never been a Kanye fan, but just because I might not agree with somebody's political views.
Well, I'm
the
with you
music
because I'm
is
all
music.
about.
I
If you were to
love
separate,
music.
if you can't separate the art from the artist, you're not going to enjoy anything.
Right,
Ever.
right.
So like, if R. Kelly had some good tunes, you wouldn't jam out to him. And that's not really my thing.
Didn't he sing "I Believe I Can Fly"?
I fucking don't
I
know.
think that if he sang that song, I would probably belt it out if it were still played on the radio. There's
Yeah.
no way it's still played on the radio. But yeah, I mean, I can still appreciate the song for what it was then and not the tarnish that it carries now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important you have to separate. Because if you judge everybody's personality based on the work they do or the art they create, I mean, everybody's an asshole if you get to know somebody well enough.
Right.
You know, you're going to find things you disagree with or you don't like, but that shouldn't take away from, you know, what they create.
Right.
Like Jimmy Page was banging a 14-year-old girl for a long time. He had a little sex slave with him, carrying her around from country to country. Yeah. But I'm not getting rid of my Zeppelin records.
I don't think you should get rid of your Zeppelin records. What's your thought
I
on
strongly
that?
disavow pedophilia, though. For the record. To the camera.
For the record, I
But
do too.
Jimmy Page, you're not a huge Zeppelin fan, are you, John?
Yeah, I like
Are
Zeppelin. I wouldn't call me a huge Zeppelin fan, but I very much like Zeppelin.
You were a child of the 80s, right? Music-wise. Like
Yep.
Van Halen,
Yep.
Iron Maiden.
And Zeppelin had a lot of influence on a lot
Oh,
of
sure.
my heroes. So
Yeah. Well, that's how I backdoored into a lot of 70s shit, because when I was growing up, it was 90s music. So you had the grunge thing. In every interview you read with Jerry Cantrell or Chris Cornell or Eddie Vedder, they're always talking about Kiss or Led Zeppelin or even the Beatles. Ozzy Osbourne's a huge Beatles fan, talking about that era, which is the era I grew up with my dad. The kind of stuff he listened to. I still think 70s is the best decade for music, like bar none.
80s.
In all genres, though. Like, all genres. It's not, 80s is hair metal and classic rock and everything. You're talking about the 70s, that's like the Johnny Cash, all of it.
Oh, so many good stuff.
And it's not just country.
So many good stuff. That's
Yeah.
not really correct
Yeah.
grammar, but many good stuffs. But the thing that bothered me about the 80s is everybody was doing so much fucking cocaine that all the drums, like, take like a Paul McCartney or somebody, the drums were electric, synthetic, and the reverb was up to 11.
They all sounded alike.
It was, and so even Queen is a great example. Like Brian May took a huge step back in the 80s, and it was like largely synth. It just doesn't age well. It was
Yeah.
very, very trendy at the time. And now you go back and listen to some of that stuff and it's very cringe. Which I get, trying to push new technologies and bring it into music. But
yeah, but you see Queen now with Adam Lambert, they rock.
Yeah, what do you think about bands continuing to just tour? Well, I'm
they still have a huge base that want to see them. There's a lot of people my age that like that stuff.
No, there's no doubt that people want to see it, but I think also in situations like Leonard Skinner, for instance, there's no original members left. Like, are those dudes doing it for the fans, or are they doing it?
Does it become a tribute band?
In essence, I mean, they take over the name, but I mean, I saw Quiet Riot 6 months ago.
Yeah, recently, right?
And Rudy Sarzo was the only remaining member left in that band, but they still sounded great. The singer didn't quite sound like Kevin DuBrow,
right?
But he sounded good, and they sounded great as a band, and it still gave you that Quiet Riot experience. So even though they were you can call them a tribute band with one original member left, it was still, to us in the crowd, once they started playing, it was Quiet Riot. So it's kind of a gray area when you get into these older bands that have few band members left, because if the people that replace them are good enough,
yeah,
then you're still hearing the same product.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on it, because I feel like there's a lot of people that try and take advantage of somebody else's legacy, and make money off of it. But at the same time,
those are true tribute bands that have no members. They're just offshoot tribute bands that make their living playing other bands' songs.
But sometimes they infect the band themselves, like Leonard Skinner is who I'm talking about. So you had Johnny singing in place of Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he still is, but Gary Rossington was the last member, and he died recently. So now Johnny has basically inherited his brother's act, which I have no problem with him doing it. It's just, I don't know, you kind of feel like at some point you lose what it was that made the thing in the first place, and don't you kind of become in essence a tribute band?
There's definitely an element of truth to that. But again, if you put out a good product,
well, people are willing to pay to see it, then obviously you're justified in
you're paying for the experience
at
that point.
Yeah.
And there's other bands like 38 Special, who we've opened up for twice.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Why am I not
We've
hearing
opened
about
up for
this
38
now?
Special on 2 different occasions, and they had almost the entire original lineup.
Pretty much.
And they were amazing.
So you might have to tell this story, but I'll start it. So we're opening up for 38 Special at the Amp, and this was 06?
Yeah, 05, 06. It was 3 months after I joined the band.
Yeah, right quick after you joined. So we're backstage.
Johnny, I joined the band, and like 2 weeks later, Johnny, we're playing a Battle of the Bands, see who opens up for 38 Special. Okay, cool, we do it, and we win. And I'm like, I've been in this band for 3 months, and I'm opening up for 38 Special. How cool is that?
Good luck, charm, Johnny.
It wasn't long, but we're backstage, and the band is back there with us. I don't remember what the situation was, but I remember you went up to Don Barnes and asked him about a guitar from the music video. You remember that?
And his guitar tech was back there, and he actually brought out that guitar. It was the guitar that Don Barnes played in the video for Hold On Loosely.
Yeah. Hang on.
And that old Gibson, the red Gibson, and he said, this is still Don Barnes' main live guitar. And he brought it to me, and the cool thing was his amp, he played an old Marshall, and to get that thing to sound the way that it needed to sound, it had to be cranked.
Yeah.
And it was too loud to have up on stage, so they had it back down in the field behind the stage in a boxed up crate.
Is that right?
And they had this microphone stuck into this hole into that crate for the speaker cabinet, and he brought me the guitar and brought us down to the crate that had the amp in it, and he's like, "You want to play the guitar through the amp?" And I was like, "Uh-huh,
I remember
yeah."
you plugging it in. I remember him handing you the guitar.
And I played it for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and I won't say how many parts of my body got hard, but pretty much all of them did.
He was fanboying out.
It was
cool.
pretty amazing. And they were so cool. They were so cool about that. But I got to play Don Barnes's actual rig, and it was amazing.
Wow, what a memory.
That was really cool.
What's your favorite concert? What's the best one?
Johnny,
That
what
I've
was
been
my
to
favorite
see?
concert?
No, I was asking her what her favorite
Oh,
concert was.
Gosh, I just have to come back to me. I've been on Kiss. It
What
was
year?
Kiss.
What year?
2004.
Was it in Little Rock by chance? Memphis?
Yeah.
I saw him in Little Rock, and that was the loudest.
Listen, I have to tell you
By
a story.
far the loudest concert I've ever been to.
Y'all
It was so
talking
loud.
amongst
It was
yourselves.
so loud that once they started a new song, it took me anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds to actually figure out what song they were playing because it was so blaringly loud.
And the smoke.
Oh my
from
gosh,
the
it was
pyro.
crazy.
Listen, whenever we left because it was the pyramid. Whenever we left, driving away from the pyramid after a Kiss concert, all you see is smoke coming out the top of the pyramid and the light because it shines. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
the most awesome experience. I have a 25-year-old son, and he did not like Kiss. He hated Kiss. And I lived in Jonesboro. I had just got transferred to do the morning show over there. And so I'd scored Kiss tickets to this concert, but we didn't tell him. And it was me and my plaintiff number 2, I like to call him, my second ex-husband. So we go over there, and my kid has no idea we're there for a Kiss concert. We tell him we told him we were going for an indoor fireworks show, because I knew there would be pyro. So we told him we were taking
Nice.
her to an indoor fireworks show. Walk around everywhere. Finally, I think he was like 7 at the time.
Woo.
I think he was like 7. He looks around. He was like, "Where's the kid over? He's wearing a Kiss t-shirt. Well, he's wearing a Kiss t-shirt too." Because he has a really bad lisp. But and he was like, "Everybody's wearing a Kiss t-shirt."
There was a theme going
And
on.
he had no idea. And then the opening band, I can't remember who that was, came on and they played. And then the curtain dropped and the Kiss logo. And he goes, "Oh, we had a Kiss concert!" And then I think it took maybe 2 songs and he was standing up in his chair. So I think that was probably my favorite concert, was Kiss.
You know, one thing that Kiss, I don't know if they were the first ones to do it. The first one I heard of doing it, I had a buddy that was a huge Kiss fan, went to see him in Little Rock, and they were selling the audio to the show. So you could buy the CD. So like by the end of the concert, they'd give you disc 1 that they just ripped off the soundboard, and then they'd mail you disc 2, like after what post encore or whatnot. And we saw Matchbox 20 were here recently, and they did the same thing. So like I have a live album of the show we saw,
That's cool.
and they've been doing that since like 2000. It was around the time Julie and I got married, so 08 or something. But a lot of bands do that now, where they sell every they use some service to do it. Not everybody does it, but that's pretty cool to be able to have the audio for the shows. And you can, even if you don't buy it like at the show, you can go to the website or whatever and order whatever concert you went to, which is really cool.
I wonder if Taylor Swift does that.
Are you for real? I want to get to the bottom of this. Are you a real Taylor Swift fan, or are you
a
trolling
Swiftie?
me?
Define Swiftie. Okay,
Taylor
here we go.
Swift fan.
Define Swiftie.
A fan of Taylor Swift?
There is like one song of hers that I like, and that's because she is this
Let me
sexy
guess.
little
It had to do with
minx.
choosing the wrong guy. I'm just gonna take a stab.
I was like, yes.
And
oh wait, they all.
And then she gets even. That's that one that she gets even. So it's the song where she chose the wrong guy and then she got even. So if we're, but that there's one song, but she's just a cute little girl. I like to give you shit. No, I'm not a Swiftie at all.
Yeah, I feel like you troll me more than
I
anything.
Definitely troll you about Taylor Swift.
Because I actually legitimately gave an effort to trying to find a Taylor Swift song to play on your show.
That one song.
I couldn't find
go
any
back to her old country
semblance.
stuff. That was her best stuff.
I forgot she even started out as country.
That was her best stuff.
We're talking about Lainey Wilson for a minute. Dang. Son.
I have not heard of this person. The name sounds familiar, but Lainey Wilson. Discuss.
You need to see a picture of her ass.
I heard it was deflated. One of my gossip magazines said it was deflated. It was inflated, and then it got deflated. Are you referencing the inflated or the deflated?
I'm talking about the perfect sculpture of the female specimen.
Peach.
Yeah.
Peach.
It's juicy. It's tasty. I like it. I don't know one of her songs.
My phone's all the way over there.
We need to get monitors up.
Y'all are painting a good picture for me.
That would be a huge.
Me and Grogu are going to go back in the restroom.
I knew you were going to abuse him within a short amount of time.
Oh,
there was a reason.
He's mine tonight. He's mine tonight.
Just call him Lainey Wilson for the night.
But I kind of feel like music as an industry has been on the decline for a long time. Like, is there anybody that's new that you listen to?
That I listen to?
Yeah, within that's come out in the last
I'm the
week.
worst because no. Everybody's talking about this Jelly Roll character. I'm sure he's very appreciated, and I'm sure he's a great person. And I've heard maybe like a sliver of a song. Good voice.
My dad likes him a lot.
That's cool, but no, I'm I don't know. I like my playlists.
Yeah.
You know, I like my playlists.
Is that just a product of being old?
No, I heard that it was a product of having OCD or being hyper focused on something.
Well, I can see that
you
too.
Kind of calm to have the same music. Like, you know, I have a visceral reaction to local radio. When local radio comes on, when I turn the car on, I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah, but is that because you worked in radio?
And I despise it, but I want to be in control of my music. I don't like surprise songs. I don't like to not know the words to the song. And if it's a song that I like, I want to learn the words to it. So I could listen to the same song over and over for probably an hour just to learn it
that is a great topic because with us at our age, we're so used to what we like and what we listen to for so long. We've become ingrained in that, and it becomes harder to get into a new band that is like current. But there's some that I've kind of taken a like to. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Gunshine. They're a rock band. They're like a mixture of AC/DC meets Led Zeppelin meets Boston. I don't know. They just they're just kick-ass rock and roll.
Hold on, to see if I can trust you or not. What do you think about Greta Van Fleet?
I am not a fan.
Okay, then I can trust you, because I fucking hate
they're
Greta
trying
Van Fleet.
they're trying too hard to be something.
Well, the first album came out. It was like, okay, they're basically just copied a Led Zeppelin EP.
Yeah,
we'll see where they go from here.
And
but they put out 2 albums since
odd
then.
to me.
Yeah, he's a wild dude, but like I just don't feel like they've evolved past copying Zeppelin.
If you want that sound in pure, that's where Gunshine comes in. You should check them out.
I will. For sure.
Their singer is
where are they from?
Sings up there. I don't know where they're out of.
U.S. or?
Yeah, they're American.
Okay.
But they just have a fantastic, just in your face rock Marshall sound, and their singer can sing anything from Led Zeppelin. That guy can hit anything. They're pretty new to me, so I don't know a lot of their stuff, but the stuff I've heard is just like, wow, these guys are awesome. Really, really cool band. So check them out.
Yeah, I will. It's just hard because when I was growing up, you had radio, and all the big bands were either on radio or music, or MTV. So all of Americans had a shared culture when I was growing up. We all watched relatively, you only had 3 or 4 networks. So you had 3 or 4 choices. So everybody was watching Seinfeld or Friends and listening to these bands. With the internet,
Right.
it fractured all of that. So we no longer as a country have this shared experience.
It's no longer must-see TV. It's no
Right.
longer you have to tune in on Thursdays nights to see it. It's you can watch it whenever.
But not
And
only
it
that,
does
but there's
nothing
so many
bring-
options.
right.
There's 50
You
streaming
can't
services
bring
and
families together anymore.
Right,
with
because
that.
everybody's got their own show and their own little niche, and that's good in a way because you have a lot more options and things that people are, that used to a studio would have said we're not going to make that. There's no audience for it. Whereas now you'll get stuff made that might not have been made a long time ago. But you don't have that water cooler talk on Monday morning when everybody's seeing the same. Not everybody's watching late night TV or Saturday Night Live anymore.
Everything's released in seasons and not
the
per
indie
episode.
the indie labels have taken off, and it's expanded. You can find a new band in any genre if you look hard enough.
Sure.
Because indie is the way to go now, and so many new bands are popping up that way. And I love it because we're getting to hear bands that otherwise, if labels hadn't have picked them up, if it was the way it was 30 years ago, we'd never hear them.
100%, and you can record at home now.
Yeah.
For relatively fraction of the cost that a big studio would cost. But I don't ever think you're going to see another Metallica. You know what I mean? Like somebody that comes out now that becomes a stadium band. I just don't see that happening.
Well, let me ask
Well,
you.
I'm sorry. I
Go ahead. No, you're
apologize.
fine, love.
There's still those that come out that can do that, that are doing that. They're several years old. They're not brand new. You got the Ghosts, the Volbeats.
Sure.
The bands like that are.
Well, what
From
I
the
was going to say
traditional
earlier
route
is
that are
that the
getting
best
pretty
new
big.
music that I'm experiencing is metal.
Yes.
And I was going to bring up a Volbeat and a Ghost. Like they're still coming out with cool original shit, and they're not young bands anymore. But yeah, it seems like the good writers are now going into metal. It feels like rock and roll's dead. But what were you going to ask?
I was going to ask you, in your opinion, who is the last successful musician? Because you've been asking us. In your opinion, who is the last musician to achieve the level of success you would say needs to be achieved?
If we're talking about the last truly great rock god, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I would say it would be Chris Cornell. I don't think I've seen anyone, and again, I'm a boomer. I'm not into the young stuff. Like most of the music I hear, somebody brings to me and says, "Hey, you need to check this out." I'm not plugged in enough to listen to new music. I just don't care. I'm kind of stuck in my ways too. That's the music I listen to is on my wall.
Right.
But to me, Chris Cornell was the last rock god. He, even after Soundgarden broke up in '96, he had 3 solo albums. He did Audio Slave, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but he was. That voice is just unparalleled. I mean, there's a lot of people that can sound like Robert Plant. Whatever Chris had, it's just, I have never heard anybody other than Ian Thornley a little bit sound like that and consistently write songs. And, a lot of lead singers rely on the band to write the music and then they write the words. But he was a true singer-songwriter.
You can hear his pain.
I don't know what it was. I don't know about his childhood. I don't know much about where he came from. But I mean, he obviously died with drugs involved and, whatever went down. Yeah, and we've talked about this on your pod. The best, I think, art comes from pain.
Yeah.
But he to me, when he died, it really you know, rock stars die all the time. You hear about it, and it's just, you know, I remember Lane Staley dying when I was a teenager. Kurt Cobain, I remember him dying. It didn't affect me like it did Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell is probably my all-time favorite singular musician of all time. And just the song, especially, not even the stuff he did with Soundgarden, his first solo album, Euphoria Morning, is one of the greatest albums ever. Very underappreciated. Not a lot of people know about it. But he understood something and saw angles into music that just even I can't see. He did a lot of odd tunings. He did a lot of odd time signatures. He was just always trying to do something different. And there's not a lot, you know, there's a lot of bands. I'll use AC/DC as an example. And I love AC/DC, but they have a formula. You know, they kind of write the same song over and over and over. And that's fine. There's a market for that. And they're great at it. But Chris, just a lot of different focal points of how to view a song. Soundgarden's last album, Down on the Upside, is a great example of this. Just all over the place. And a lot of people don't like that. They want kind of that consistent sound. But I felt like he was just a true maverick when it came to songwriting. And so that would be it for me. He was the GOAT, in my opinion. But, you know, it sucks because Soundgarden had just done an album. Well, they were on tour for the King Animal album when he died. Might have been the second round of it, and they were going to do another album after that. Like they were back, you know. And it's sad because he had kids and a family, and
we could reel this back into our original subject of social media.
We're like 8 rabbit holes down.
I know. But
somebody's trying to play host
but we can
over
relate.
here.
What is social media doing for modern bands? If it wasn't for social media, I'd never heard of Gunshine. If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't know that Extreme, with one of my favorite guitarists ever, Nuno Betancourt, has a killer new album out. So social media, kind of going back to where we started.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Is a huge benefactor to bands, you know, not only the indie bands, but the old bands making a comeback. Any bands, they now have the platform of social media to put their stuff out there, and that is so powerful.
And, you know, it was around when we were together and we just didn't utilize it. Because I think we were all kind of boomers and it was new, and, you know, a lot of bands were utilizing that. New technology, if you don't harness it right from the get-go, you kind of get...
You got to ride that first wave.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like he's saying, you know, my opinion of social media is very negative, and mostly when it comes to regarding kids. And that's the whole angle I was wanting to talk about. But like Johnny pointed out, social media is a tool. It's like a gun, right? I mean, you can murder somebody with it, or it can save your life. Or a hammer. You can kill somebody with it, or you can build a house. It's a tool. So whoever's using it, you know, kind of dictates what that tool does. And social media has brought a lot of great opportunities to a lot of people who never would have gotten a record deal or an act, you know. And it's presented so many opportunities to people who are willing to put in the work and who do have talent, and it can give them a platform. And so, yeah, in that way, I think it's been a fantastic...
That's a huge plus in my opinion.
Yeah.
That social media has brought is artists being able to put their stuff out there, whether they're musicians, painters, whatever
young
their
filmmakers.
art is.
Yeah.
It's a platform where anybody can put whatever it is they're doing out there, and
Because
if it's good, it's gonna grab.
There's gonna be somebody who wants what you're putting out there. You know?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And
if you can
just,
reach them.
And just sometimes it's a snowball kind of an avalanche. You get that one person, and that gives you all the momentum that you need to start building from there, and get the likes and everything. So building social media, I had mentioned Jelly Roll. While I don't listen to his music, I know
You know who he is because he's in front of your face all the time.
I know very loosely the story
Yeah.
because he's on social
everywhere.
media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know that his wife is blonde and buxom and is a bunny or something. Bunny something. Anyway, but yeah, I associate those things.
Wait, that's her
because of
name, or
social-
she's a furry?
I don't think she's a
Furry
I
where?
don't think she. I do not know if she's furry everywhere.
That
But I
was an
think-
open-ended comment.
Yeah, I know.
Like her
You're
screen
good
name
at
is
those.
Exo Bunny or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know much
The
about her.
only reason is because of social media, and which is so weird because they're on TikTok, and you know my stance on TikTok. I don't have a use for it. I never could get into it. I never
But
understood
it could reach a big audience for you if you utilized it. Because you don't really utilize
I do not.
other than Facebook, which is a kind of the boomer.
Yeah, I just use Facebook.
But-
But in my opinion, though, for me, it seems like I'm building more of a organic demographic for that. You know, I know the demographic that I'm going for. And the demographic that I'm going for is your female, 25 to 54. They're the ones that make the money decisions. And where are they? They're on Facebook because they're my age.
Yeah, but do you want? I get what you're saying. Do you want this younger audience who's got the attention span of nanoseconds?
Well,
You know-
I've always felt that TikTok was on its way out, and that's why I never put too much time into it. I always had an inkling that it was on its way out the door, and that's why I never, because I knew that if I invested that much time into that, I know that I could really go far and do a lot of things on TikTok, but I also had a feeling that it was on its way out the door.
Why did you feel like it was on? So, real quick before you answer this, do you remember when HD video started coming to the home system?
Mm-hmm.
So you had HD DVDs
Mhm.
and Blu-rays,
Mhm.
both on sale,
Mhm.
same movie in both platforms,
Right.
and people were like, I don't know which one to get, you know.
Right.
And then Sony PlayStation put a Blu-ray player into the PlayStation, and that killed HD DVD because the kids were getting PlayStations.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, I don't need to get an HD player because I got a Blu-ray, right? There's certain things, they were basically the same product,
Mhm.
but one got to deal with video games, right? The new thing, and that to this day is the new, the standard for physical media. Obviously, we've gotten up to what, 40K and all that stuff, but you know, that was the media for a long time. So I'm just curious, why did you think, if TikTok was the newest, most popular thing, why were you thinking it was on its way out? Or like, how long did you think that? You talking about before the government was trying to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why did
I
you
just
think it was on
I
its way
just
out?
felt it was a I just felt it was a fad. My background in dealing with media and stuff, you know, I don't want to say you sniff out things that aren't going to last, but you sniff out a fad, you know,
You've been around long enough to see
Yeah.
things come and go and
yeah,
kind of
so
recognize maybe.
as soon as it started going, I felt like there was only one niche for TikTok, and that was the girls doing the dances, you know, the dance and
The sluts.
I don't know. It was just doing the dances and trying to go TikTok viral.
There's a lot of cowgirl sluts on TikTok.
Speaking of cowgirl sluts, my
I'd
husband.
love to see your feed sometime.
His feet or his feed?
His feed,
Oh.
his For You pages, but what gets sent to Brad? That would be a very interesting compilation.
Brad will be very excited to know that my husband came home the other night from work, and he had a sorority girl's cowgirl hat in the passenger seat.
She said I was going to be surprised that your husband came home, and I thought you were going to stop it there. I'm surprised he ever comes
Oh,
home.
that's true. That's true, though.
Ooh.
I'm surprised he comes home too.
So he had a sorority girl's cowgirl hat on?
Yeah. So, long story short, I am in possession of a brand new cowgirl hat.
Hold on, I want to hear the story of how he got the hat. Did he wrangle it off of her? What's the
There's
deal?
a story.
There's a rope involved, isn't there?
You tell me what story you want me to say.
Okay. So
Okay.
basically,
I can't wait for this one.
He roofies her. That's how it starts, right?
No, it does not start like that.
No, I want to hear the story for real. Do you know it?
I do know.
Grogu
What are you
wants to
talking
know.
about? Do I know the story? Do I know the story about how some girls had? Yeah, my husband's an Uber driver and she forgot it in the car. That's all it is. It's
We got to
nothing
rewrite that
glamorous.
story immediately. It's not how it happened.
How did
Grogu's
it-
not impressed.
Grogu's not.
Grogu's
impressed.
disappointed in that story.
All right, so rewrite the story. For
No,
my
that
husband.
he was he Ubered her to her destination, and she said, "You got to come in and have just a couple of shots."
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he goes in. They have a couple of shots. Next thing you know, somebody's got a lasso out.
Uh-huh.
He lassos her.
He likes that story.
She likes to be choked.
Uh-huh.
Right? Was that? And she says, "Dominate me, and you can have my cowgirl hat."
Yeah.
And then I don't want to get too graphic, but
I just want to know if he brought me home Mexican pizza at the end of the night. Because I love me some Taco
dude,
Bell.
is that not
Mexican
the best
pizza.
item on the Taco Bell
Do
menu?
you want to know what they should do? Sometimes I get so
Bring
high.
tostadas back?
That.
Did you just say that you get so high?
Sometimes
What a shocker.
Sometimes I get so high that I think of new things that they need to do to the Taco Bell menu. And one of these things is that in order for my fat high ass to stop having to order 2 Mexican pizzas at a time, they just need to put them on top of each
A
other.
double stacked Mexican pizza.
A
You know,
double stacked
That used to be
Mexican
called
pizza.
a tostada. You
That
remember
was
the tostada?
never a tostada. Tostada is not a Mexican pizza. Tostada is not cooked. The Mexican pizza is put into the thing and it's slid into the steamer.
Yeah, it's melted. I get it. But the tostadas
and
were
it
so
has
sweet.
lettuce.
Mexican pizza is
Tostada.
crack.
It is.
Exactly.
It's crack.
They
But they
need
were
to-
gone forever. They just brought it back within the last year or so, didn't they?
I was so and then they took it away again. So then I cried.
I gotta show you something.
Do you know why they took it away again? It had nothing to do with the ingredients not being there. They ran out of the packages, the little trays that they.
Oh, bullshit.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why they ran out. It's like,
Huh.
Check out what's in there. You were startled. That is what remains of a bag of 30 sides of red sauce.
where did you get this from?
Taco
I mean,
Bell.
obviously, but
Taco Bell. Shocker.
you just keep it in your
No.
fridge somewhere?
So, I'm a huge fan of red
You know
sauce.
you can buy bottles of that at Walmart.
Not the red sauce you can't. Only the mild hot and fire. I'm talking the
What's
red.
the red sauce?
Dip your toe in that some. Get your little pinky on there. That's what they put in the burritos. You just put it on
Oh,
tostadas.
ranchero sauce.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So during COVID, I'd gone down there and I used to make nachos every night. Like,
You've had that since COVID.
no, that's a
Oh.
new one. That's a new one. I've not had that since COVID, but it would still be good. But I go in there, and during COVID, I didn't leave the house very often, so I was gonna order like 30 sides of red sauce. They're 15 cents a piece, not much. And so the manager was like, "Hey, what do you need all this for?" I was like, "Dude, I just make nachos with them." And he goes, "Here." So he gives me the bag, the mix bag for it. He's like, "Just take one of these, dude. Just put a quart of boiling water in it and mix it up. It'll last you forever." So like, dude, you're the man. So it did. It lasted me forever. So I go back the next time. Obviously, Taco Bell managers last like 9 months, right? You're never gonna get the same one twice. Next time I go back, I asked for a manager. I was like, "Hey, I was in here a while back. The manager gave me one of the bags." He's like, "Yeah, no, he did it." He's like, "Yeah, take one, cool." Third time I go back, the guy's like, "Well, I don't know what they've done in the past, but I can't just give it to you. I'll sell it to you." I was like, "Fair." So we calculated up how many sides it was, and I paid. It was like $5.
Calculator. That's funny.
So I go in to get this bag, and they got a new manager at the Taco Bell. And so I go in, this guy's at the counter, and I said, "Hey man, I'm trying to buy a bag of the red sauce seasoning, the mix packet." He was like, "Hold on, let me get my manager." Well, excuse me. First I said, "Can I talk to a manager?" And he said, "I'm a manager." And I asked him the question, and he said, "Let me go get my manager." So I was like, "You're not an executive manager then." I don't know what levels of manager they have within Taco Bell's, but
Definitely executive manager
so this
is one of them.
lady comes out, very bitchy affront to her, and she says, "What exactly are you needing, sir?" And I said, "I want to buy one of the red sauce bags." And she said, "Where did you hear that you could do that?" I said, well, I've been doing it here for years, literally. She said, no, you haven't. I said, I got pictures of the bags, lady. I got a picture of the bag that the first manager gave me with instructions on it. She's like, that is a terminatable offense. I'm like, oh, she said, who gave that to you? Because that is a terminatable offense. And I said, first of all, I have no idea who these guys are. Second of all, if I did, I wouldn't tell you because you were a monster. And she goes, I will not sell you a bag of that. That's proprietary. I'm like, the instructions aren't on it, lady. There's no ingredients on the bag. Anyway, I said, well, how about we do this? You go back there and just make me 30 sides of red sauce. And she did. She went back there by herself, single-handedly, angrily, making me 30 sides of red sauce.
She put her finger in every single one of them.
Oh, no, she wasn't. I was watching. Even if she did, I wouldn't have minded. She was pretty smoking. For a 50-year-old Taco Bell manager. Dude, I was
You'll
aroused.
do a lot of things for red sauce.
I will. I was wanting to rub it all over my chest, but I didn't have one on me. But I should have had her throw one to me. Just like, hey, give me a...
So she did that, and then those little cups that you showed. So
yeah.
There were 30 of those she went through instead of just...
she made me 30 of these angrily.
And then she would have had to... The bag at that point would have been probably empty, and then she would have had to throw the bag in the trash.
All she had to do was give me a bag of proprietary content, and I would have gone my own way. But now I'm talking about her on a podcast.
I have your new name for the podcast. Angry Sauce.
Angry Sauce. That's actually not bad.
I think.
Hold on, did you come up with that or did Grogu?
He did.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Didn't sound like.
He's a good listener.
You know that's my jacket. That was my baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Actually, Max wore that too.
He seems to like it.
He does. You're not a Star Wars fan, are you?
I've never seen one Star Wars movie in my entire life.
Caitlin, you aware of this?
I'm holding back.
Oh.
I am holding back. He's like wanting to come get
I've
you.
never seen a Star Wars or a Star Trek or any.
He wants to bite your nipples so hard right now. I'm literally holding back.
I've never.
I don't really know how to
Look
respond
into
to
his
that.
eyes and tell him.
All right.
Look into his eyes.
I've never.
Look into him, Nicole.
Look into his eyes.
Look into him. It's not a request.
I've never.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little guy.
I've never seen a Star movie.
Star movie.
What are they called?
All right,
Star
what are your
Wars?
top 5 favorite movies?
Top 5 favorite movies or TV shows? Top 5 favorite movies.
Okay,
Good
well,
Morning Vietnam, number
You
1.
can say TV.
Good Morning Vietnam. Number
Robin
1.
Williams, right? That's
Yes.
Robin Williams?
That was a good one.
Stripes.
Stripes.
Bill Murray.
Stripes. Step Brothers. Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
classic.
Good one.
And Scarface.
Mm.
Those are my top
I
5.
actually like
TV
that list.
shows, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Those are my...
Oh, Breaking Bad.
I have been to the locations. I have been to the houses.
Really?
I have blue meth at my house. Fake.
Grogu wants to come over.
I have the... No, Grogu! I have the license plate. I have friends from the shows. Vince... Here we go.
Tell them the story. I've heard the story.
Here's the story. So we were at this little thing called Durham Fest, right? And we went live. Went live at this little event called Durham Fest, and all of a sudden, boom! Guess who was watching Durham Fest? Vince Gilligan's mother.
Really?
Vince Gilligan's mom was watching Durham Fest. You guys didn't even know it. But those are my...
That is so cool.
Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Oh gosh, we're gonna
Lost.
have to do way better this next time because
Have I got any redemption for the Star Wars thing yet because of that?
a little.
Okay.
Because I love Breaking Bad.
I love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, I have some of that in my intro, my show intro.
Have you watched Yellowstone?
No.
Have you?
Or Shameless. I have
I
not
have
watched
not.
Shameless either. heard I should watch that.
I really enjoyed Yellowstone. I usually don't watch anything that's really popular. I just kind of let it ride and see how it ends.
I like reality shows.
Because I got burned on Lost. I got burned on Game of Thrones. Of course, to be fair, Game of Thrones, when it was good, was the best show on television until they botched the fucking ending. But Yellowstone, I was going to just kind of wait and see. But Taylor Sheridan was on Rogan a few months ago. I really liked the dude. Like, really knew his history, his American history. He's a horse expert. Like, he trains horses. Like, so all the horses on the show belong to him. He actually plays the horse trainer in the show. And I was like, this guy's legit. Like, he seems... He had been in Hollywood for like 20 years trying to make it as an actor. Never could get the break. And then ended up writing Yellowstone. I think he took it to HBO and they basically said, nobody's doing Westerns anymore. We're not interested. And then he ended up going to Paramount and they bought it. And the rest is history. But really good. Ridiculous. Like, it's some wild, outrageous shit, but it's most
And Weeds. I like Weeds. The show Weeds. So those are my TV shows.
I'm glad you clarified the show Weeds.
Well, he's looking at me like he wants an answer with this doll.
I thought I could get through a whole pod without taking a different
I'm not controlling him. He's moving.
I have made it through a whole pod without stepping outside to take a hit of my vape.
You can vape in here.
Nobody told me I could vape in here.
Why couldn't you? It's just...
Because it's vaporisky. And my vape's all the way over there.
Have your vape. I'll have a dip, you have a vape.
My vape's over there. I'll be okay.
Alright. Well, you have stronger willpower than I do.
I'm okay. I have to drive tonight and I've had 3/4 of a beer without dropping it.
That is impressive. You look like you're fading fast.
I am
You're
fading
about to pass
fast.
out. We gotta wrap this up.
We must. It
For
must
Nicole's
be the
beauty sleep.
eyeliner. What time is it?
Alright. It's midnight.
It's 9:42 p.m. Central Standard Time, which means it's almost 10.
Which means it's, what, an hour past your old lady bedtime?
Yeah, it is.
You just want to get high.
Yeah, well, there's that. No, but yeah, I do.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
me
being
on your
my
very
guinea pig.
first
Both
pod.
of you.
So do they call these podcasts? What is?
Yeah.
How do we differentiate between the two? Because I have a podcast, but
Yeah.
you're doing a podcast, but yours is a video podcast. But we don't say video podcast.
Vodcast.
What was the name of your show again?
What did Grogu say? Angrily.
Well, he was actually telling
Angry
me.
sauce.
He was telling me what his favorite series was, TV series.
Oh.
What's your favorite TV series?
You better not say The Mandalorian. That's.
What do you think it was? Of course
Well,
it
that's
was.
a little.
That was
Grogu,
his. That
man.
was his, not mine.
I
That was his.
You
Shameless
kept calling him
self-promoter.
Grogu. I thought he was calling him Roku for a while. Please spell that Grogu. I really need to watch these Star Wars things, don't I?
No.
I
No,
know.
just stay,
At this point,
stay away and you'll be happier. You can watch the originals, 4, 5, and 6. I think Aaron would love them.
How are they originals if they're 4, 5, and 6? Wouldn't
They
the originals
started-
be 1,
they
2, and 3?
for some reason, George Lucas started on A New Hope, which was episode 4. And that was the original Star Wars movie that came out in 1976. And they did 4, 5, and 6 back then. Why he didn't start from the beginning, we don't know. I don't know. I don't know George, so maybe Grogu could get us.
Well, the original Star Wars just came out and it was just called Star Wars.
Yeah, just
it
Star
wasn't
Wars.
until Empire came out that it was called Episode 5, was it?
Yeah, that's when they.
Yeah, because like the Star Wars was just Star Wars, and then when Empire came out, I think they called it like
Episode 5.
Episode 5. Yeah.
And that was confusing to a lot of people. They were
Everybody.
like, what?
Even as a
Episode
kid,
5?
I remember being confused. Like, hold on, Star Wars is 1 and this is 5, so there's like I thought I was missing something between them.
I am way too old and way too high to even think about any of that. Because if I have to start something that starts on number 4,
It was weird how, George had a reason, but the thing is, it worked.
It was gold.
Star Wars, maybe in his mind, was the best story of all of them, and maybe that's why he started.
Well, it might
out
have been
with
budgetary constraints. I don't know. I know the reason he wrote Star Wars to begin with was because he was wanting to do Buck Rogers, and that he couldn't get the rights, so he said, "I'm going to do my own."
I loved Buck Rogers.
No, Buck Rogers. I was old enough to see it when it was on, but it was fantastic. I went back and watched it when I was a little older, but yeah, some good stuff.
A good show. Blast from the past.
All right, we're gonna let Nicole get out of here.
He's falling asleep over there. He's calling me old. He's over there falling asleep.
We're all old.
It's past my bedtime.
We're all
He's
old.
the one over there cuddling with his stuffed animal.
All right, we'll conclude the first White Trash Cast or
That's the one,
Angry,
White Trash Cast.
What was it?
Angry Sauce.
Angry Sauce. I don't know. What do you think, Kaylin?
We're not really angry, so I don't know if that's. It was a good one for this one, but
White Trash Podcast is already taken. So Angry Sauce.
No, those are it's not a binary. We'll keep talking about it. But we do need to decide before we upload this.
Wait, you've been over there researching?
Yes.
Yeah, that's her fucking job.
I know what the job is. I
Goddamn
have
producer.
one. His name's Phil.
I'm aware
And
of
it's
Phil.
called Vodcast, by the way, too. I looked that up.
Vodcast.
It is a podcast.
It's
Okay.
a vodcast.
Okay. Well, what else do we? Is there anything else? When
We
did
need-
MySpace?
now that we're done with the vodcast,
MySpace
I'm
was
gonna go home and drink
2003.
some vodka.
MySpace came out in
Ooh.
03.
Ooh.
You're what?
MySpace came out in 03, she said.
All right. So we need. Caitlin needs a mic. We need HDMI for that TV so we can pull stuff up. You said you want to watch Japanese midget porn.
Have you?
No, we're
I
still
needed
rolling.
that link.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to my
Thanks.
Japanese midget porn.
Appreciate it.
It's a
Oh, he's big into that.
Oh, Grogu loves it.
It's right up
what
his
she
alley,
said.
as you can see. Yeah.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
guy.
You know, Walter started saying that's what she said, but like very appropriately. Saying
Really?
it. I'm like, how do you know what that is?
What is these children and they're using these weird things so appropriately? You know, Aaron got kicked out of the car rider line. He's no longer allowed to wait in line with the other car riders when we go to pick him up.
To be fair, it is Aaron, so that doesn't shock
So
me.
We have to now go to school every day at 2:30, physically walk into the school and check him out. And so I told him this, because the car rider line, that's the end of the day fun. There's treats, there's prizes, there's games and all this stuff. So I told him, you know, son, your behavior has got you kicked out of the car rider line. And you're no longer. Do you know what his response to me was? Wah, wah. Just appropriately used.
So you know Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah.
That's her son.
Really?
He's a live action wild man.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea what she does to parent this child. He is.
I don't.
off the chain.
I podcast.
But I love Aaron though, because every time I show up, I feel like he loves me more than my own kids love me. Like when I show up, I feel so loved by that kid, and it really is special to me.
Aw,
I hope you don't think I'm just trying to get
no,
away.
take him, please.
No, Aaron's a cool kid, and he's really special to me.
We've created a child that is going to bring love, light, and joy to the talent section of the Urban Dictionary Talent Management Company. So.
He just needs to mature a little bit and keep the same energy. One of these days, man, it's gonna lock in for him. I'm telling you.
And until then, he needs to step off my nuts, though. The 7-year-old needs to step off my nuts. It's bad.
Well, I mean, what were you thinking of a child at your age? Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what I was thinking.
You weren't.
I went 1 year without getting that EITC on the income taxes, and I was like, fuck it, we're having another
Yes,
one.
there you
So
go.
I went 18 years and I got that credit. I went 1 year without that EITC. That's why my kids are 18 years apart.
That's
you
a
think
good
it's
reason
a
to bring
coincidence?
a human into the earth.
It's not a coincidence.
Guys, we're gonna have to end this soon because he's starting to go after my
Grogu's
leg.
about to.
Oh, Lord.
He's going after my leg, and I
All right, let's kill it, Caitlin.
can't do anything about it.
Good first episode.